The knock-on consequences for this war are obvious, aren't they? Absolutely obvious. Fuel and energy are going up, which means everything goes up. Pretty much everything will go up. If it costs more to transport and to make the products and services happen, prices are going to go up. This means you're going to need more units of currency, more promissory notes, banknotes, both paper and digital, to buy the same goods and services. Now this means interest rates have to go up. They have to, on a couple of levels. Look at the 1970s. There was raging inflation. When the world went to stage 2 of the monetary cycle, promissory notes that are suspended convertibility for what is promised on their gold and silver, interest rates went up to over 10%. The base rate went up to, I think it was 17%. It went higher than that, didn't it? But for a long time it was above 10%, 12%. At the moment we're still like really low, historically low interest rates. And people are moaning that they're high. Oh my word, the Bank of England's put the interest rate quite high. Like, no, it's not. It's still incredibly low. You wait till it's 10%, and it will be. Inflation is so severe now that they're going to have to put interest rates up. It'll be 5%, 6%, 7%. When it gets to 8, 9%, it's going to be chaos. They have to put interest rates up. 2 levels. Number one, it rewards investors. If you're buying gilts, government bonds, this high inflation, your currency is going down in purchasing power. They have to attract investors by putting really high interest rates. They have to. So the interest rate's going to keep going up. And you have to put interest rates above inflation to get a hold of inflation. Inflation's going to go crazy. You're going to lose the pound sterling. You're going to lose confidence in it. The Bank of England, if they don't raise interest rates high enough, you're going to get hyperinflation, or you're going to get really big inflation. Huge inflation leading to hyperinflation, which they don't want. They want to avoid it as long as possible. It's going to happen, but they want to postpone it. It's inevitable. They want to postpone the inevitable. They're going to have to raise interest rates. They're going to try and raise them as little as they possibly can get away with. But as inflation goes up, because of the Straits of Hormuz is closed, the price of oil, the availability of oil and gas and energy is going up. Everything will go up. Food will go up. You're going to see massive rises in the cost of living. You're going to see people struggling. With interest rates going up, what are the knock-on consequences of this? Well, before the war in the Middle East, there was talk of base rate interest rates going down. Your mortgage was going to go down, you know, and that's what people were expecting, which put a prop under house prices. House prices were going to be falling a long way, but this put like a prop to prop them up. Well, those props have all come out now. The props have all collapsed. You're going to see house prices collapse because mortgage rates are going to go up and up and up and up and up. Mortgages are going to go up. There's going to be huge numbers of defaults, huge numbers of repossessions. You're going to see repossessions, the likes of which have not been seen in recent living history. People cannot afford it. When interest rates go up to the late 7, 8%, 9%, when it goes over 10%, that's the base rate, people can't afford to pay their mortgages. Landlords can't afford to pay their mortgage. They'll try putting the rent up. I'm sorry, but the tenant has to pay more rent. The tenant's not going to pay. I can't afford that. Look at my bills. Look at my energy bills. Look at my food bill. Look at, I've got to buy clothes and shoes for my kids. I cannot afford that rent, and they just can't afford it, and they won't pay it. There's going to be repossessions. Auction houses are going to be full up of repossessed properties. No buyers. Nobody can. Why would you buy when you know that they're going to be lower next year? House prices are going to go lower and lower and lower and lower. 2 things I'm predicting. Number 1, cost of living will be going up, and price of everything is going to be going up and up and up and up and up. So interest rates will have to go up. They're going to try and put interest rates up higher than inflation. They're going to try and slow down inflation, but nothing can stop it going up. They can just slow it down. Interest rates are going to be going 5, 6, 7, 8%, 9%. When interest rates get close to 10%, it's desperate. We're talking about desperate. The base rate will be 10%. People can't afford to pay their mortgage. The government's going to print to try and bail out, to stop the crisis. And that's just going to make the problem worse. It's going to make it much worse. I've got to take a call. So I just had a call. So interest rates, the Bank of England base rate is going to go really, really high to try and slow down the inflation. But people are going to be in crisis. The numbers of people can't pay their rent. Numbers of people can't pay their mortgage. The government's going to print. There's going to be bailouts. There's going to be emergency measures. They're going to be handing out checks, you know, stimulus check, whatever they call it. Bailout, you know, these bounce-back loans. It'd be something, think of a new name for it. Stimmy checks. You just whoosh, whoosh. The printer goes brrr. It's digital, isn't it? Digital printer these days. Type in 10 billion to bail out. Let's make it 100 billion. Hang on. Let's make it 1,000 billion, a trillion. Let's make it, you just type in any number you like. The magic money computers, let's type this in. They're going to trash the currency. And what this will mean is house prices are going to come down. Before the currency collapses, which I don't know when it'll be, it could be 2027, 2028, 2029. There'll be a banking collapse. But before that, house prices are going to come right down because there's going to be so many repossessions. When a house is repossessed, okay, that you can't afford to pay the mortgage. You're paying like whatever you're paying now, £600-700 a month now, and it goes to £1,200 a month. You can't afford. People cannot afford to pay their mortgage, and most of that is interest. It's hardly any of that is, even if it was interest only. When interest rates double what they are now, your mortgage payments double. They repossess it. Now that goes to auction. The bank just wants to sell it quick at auction. There's no buyers. Who wants to buy a house in this environment? Nobody wants to buy a house. You know that prices are going to be lower next year. So why would you buy now? Nobody wants to be a landlord. Everything is in favour of the tenant. Tenants now have got all the rights. I tell you what, the things I've been learning lately, landlords are going to the tenant, I need to put the rent up. And the tenant says, sorry, I can't afford that. And the landlord said, well, I can't afford this. You know, I'm losing money every month. I have to put it up to this amount just so that I'm not losing money. And the tenant says, sorry, I can't afford that. I have to go to tribunal. And the landlord's begging him, please, I can't afford, I'm losing money every month. And the tenant just says, it's not my problem. I can only afford this much. So he goes to tribunal. And the tribunal decides, look, this is all the tenant can afford. This is what the rent will be. And the landlord's begging the judge, please, I'm losing money every month. I need to put the rent up higher. And the tribunal has decided this. And the landlord's got to just take a hit, lose money or try and sell. Everybody's trying to sell at the same time. They cannot kick the tenant out. If the tenant doesn't pay the rent, they cannot kick the tenant out. Sorry, if the tenant pays the rent and there's no fault, the landlord cannot evict them. But if the tenant doesn't pay the rent, they have to go 3 months. All tenants are talking now in Telegram. You can always be 3 months in the bag and nothing will happen. You cannot pay your rent for 3 months, and then if you want, pay your rent again. And the landlord cannot start eviction procedure with only 3 months in arrears. That is ridiculous. When you think about that, that is ridiculous. All tenants in the country could say, I want to just do 3 months in the bag. And the tenant can't be evicted if they're 3 months. But if they choose to go more than 3 months, they go the 4th month. After the 4th month of non-payment of rent, then the landlord can start the very slow process of starting to try to evict them. And apparently it could be 1.5 or 2 years before they're actually evicted. Up to 2 years. And that is getting longer because the numbers are going crazy. How it'll work, they put their name on the list, there's a bottleneck, all the numbers are growing and the courts can only cope with a certain amount. When your name finally comes up and you go to court, if the tenant comes up, and they can use AI these days, and there's all these Telegram groups helping tenants to fight the landlord, they can come up with some little, you didn't issue this safety certificate, you didn't this, I didn't have the renters right, I didn't have the Renters' Rights Act or something like that. I don't know, I've not looked into it. They come up with something, start at the beginning of the queue again. And if the landlord can successfully say, no, I did provide the gas safety certificate, I did provide the electricity, I did provide the Renters' Rights booklet or whatever it is, I did do all this, and the judge said, yes, you did. Okay, granted, the landlord wins. Then they've got to try and get bailiffs, and there's a shortage of bailiffs. And if the tenant barricades the door, the bailiffs can, at that stage, 2 years later, Bailiffs can come around with a locksmith and try and forcibly evict them. But at that stage, tenants are putting up a fight. And there's groups on Telegram, these local fast response units, and there's ones in London, there's ones in all these places. When the bailiffs come around with a locksmith, a fast response unit comes around to try and protect the tenant, keep them in their home a bit longer. And we're talking 2 years. If you stop paying your rent now in 2026, 2027, 2028, who knows what the world will be like in 2028? Some people are saying that possession is not 9/10 of the law. Possession is 10/10 of the law now. If you're in a property not paying the rent with constant bailiffs trying to get possession of the property, who knows? By then, I think the whole system will have fallen apart. House prices will be absolutely down through the floor. Nobody will want to buy. Loads of people are trying to sell. Auction houses are full up of repossessed properties. The banks are trying to sell for peanuts, but there's no buyers. We're looking at a crazy world. I think do not be a property owner. I know that some people are trying to sell. I know I've spoken to some people, they're trying to sell. They've got some properties they're trying to sell. And they say, no, nobody's buying at the moment. Nobody's buying at the moment. Of course, but it's going to get worse. If you can sell it for half what you thought you could get for it, try and sell it now. In 1 or 2 years, you're definitely not going to be able to sell it for any reasonable amount. If you've got any property, try and sell. If you're in a house now that you own, yeah, I'm going to ride out this storm. No, it's the price of property is going to go right down. Interest rates and mortgage payments are going to go up and up and up. Cost of living is going to go up. Value of homes are going to go right down. If you still own property, sell now. Whatever you do, don't buy property. Don't be a landlord. You're much better off being a tenant in this environment. Buy gold and silver. No, not gold. I got that wrong. Do not buy gold. Buy silver and copper. Silver and copper. Buy food. Every time you go shopping, I buy like a box of tinned food every week. One more box of tinned food. We buy soup, stew, all kinds of long life foods. And these tins of food, as long as you keep them in a low temperature environment, dry environment, they will last 10 years past their use by date. We buy tinned fruit, tinned vegetables, tinned all sorts of things. You can buy tinned meat, tinned fish. It will last a long time, as long as the seal stays intact and it doesn't get too hot and it's dark and it's dry. I'd say keep stacking food now, because the price of food, the price of everything in 1 or 2 years is going to shock people. I'm talking, for example, a loaf of bread could be £7-8. You know, a normal thing of milk, 4 litres of milk that you might pay £1.80 for now, that's going to be £7, £8, £9, £10. You know, basic goods and services. A block of cheese is going to be £20, you know. Imagine that kind of inflation. I'm talking about that amount of inflation over the next few years. Prepare now.